Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet Violet VGC video. I'm gonna be your host, Jose Rocks, and today we're gonna be getting into the new Pokemon Legends ZA game that was just announced, and we're gonna pretty much be picking which starters we think are gonna be the three that you're gonna be using throughout the game, or just the three that you initially start the game with. Because of course the Legend Arceus have a lot of the starters that you can kind of like catch in a while, like Infernape and stuff like that, right? But we're gonna go over the ones that we think that you're gonna pretty much start with, and we have 5 categories here. This first category is gonna be what we say for the end. This is gonna be my final 3 picks for what I believe are gonna be the 3, and then once the game finally releases, or if we get any like leaks or anything for it, we'll be able to see how well this held up from the 3 that I picked. Most likely it's gonna be the category that's the highest, where I think they have the highest chance outside of the ones that I choose to be the 3 starters, right? Next we have is possible but less likely. We have a category where we're gonna have the Pokemon I feel like they could be the starters, but it's not really a high chance that it will be. The category under that is gonna be not a chance. I really honestly feel like these Pokemon most likely will not be in the game, but of course it's not a 0% chance. But I still think that it's not a chance that they would be in there. And last but not least, we have disqualified. This disqualified is we're gonna pretty much start with this one. This is pretty much gonna be Hisuian, Samurai, Hisuian, Decidueye, Hisuian, Typhlosion. They're in the disqualified section because they are already forms of 3 previous starters, and I don't believe that they're gonna make new forms or give these a mega based on the fact that they're already forms, right? And it's not confirmed whether we're gonna be getting in new forms for the Kalos region, or are we going to be getting megas for those starters. So we could get both. We could get like a new Kalos form, and that form have a mega, right? Which would be really cool in my opinion, if they give us the best of both worlds, which I doubt it, but we'll see how it goes from there. So we'll start with the list. Venusaur. I think Venusaur is going to be possible but less likely. Less likely for the fact that they could give Venusaur like a Kalos variant, and pretty much say like, hey, this is why they were able to give you this starter in the beginning of the other game. I like have some lore behind that. So we can pretty much put all of them in that same category. I think it's possible but less likely because of the fact that if the new Pokemon starters for this, whichever 3 they choose, if the new gimmick is going to be that they get a Mega Form, these already have Mega Forms, right? And due to that fact, I don't believe that they're going to be getting another Mega Form. And since there's a lot of Pokemon that already, have Mega Forms, right? Or don't have Mega Forms, that will most likely be more lured to getting those Mega Forms. Meganium. I think Meganium is going to be a most likely for me. I think that it hasn't gotten a lot of love since Gen 2. And you saw that previously they showed a Gen 2 Pokemon pretty much love when they did Typhlosion for the Legends Arceus game. So we'll see if they give, Meganium some love. And I honestly do think that they should. This Pokemon just has not been good historically in VGC or, really in anything in Smogon either, right? So I think that it can be pretty good if they give it like a new Mega Form or a new like Kalos form, and it just move the stats around, right? So it can make it viable, give it like Regenerator or something like that, give it Spore, just some really good options so that you can actually use this Pokemon. I think Typhlosion is going to be not a chance. The reason I say not a chance is because they already gave it a form, and unless it gets like the Charizard thing where they continue to keep bringing it back and then they use it again, which I don't think they'll do for the next Legends game, then, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Typhlosion is one of my favorite starters. Not my favorite, but I love all the fire starters pretty much, right? But Typhlosion is probably going to be my 3rd favorite fire starter, probably after Infernape and Cinderace. But I do think that it's really cool. For Alligator, I think it's going to be one of the most likely, for the fact that it didn't get any love in the previous one, and it hasn't got like any, spotlight pretty much since Gen 2, right? So it's kind of in the same category as Meganium, but it's a little bit better than Meganium as far as like being able to be used. Sceptile is gonna be in, it's possible but less likely, for the fact that Sceptile did get a Mega Form. We could pretty much put Blaziken and Swampert in there too. They could pick them, but like I said, if the mechanic is gonna be Megas, then they're not going to really use these because they already had their own Mega Forms, right? They're just going to bring them back with Megas, and they might just let you pick one of these as your starter, similar to like how in the Kalos game you got to pick one of these as your starters along with the Kalos starters, right? So they may just give you like a Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert, one of those three, at the start of the game, and because they already had Mega Forms. Torterra, I think Torterra is definitely most likely to get a form. Same with Infernape and Empoleon. Since the last remakes were Gen 4, and they didn't choose any one of these since they were in the current gen, I think now that the ZA is going to be based on Gen 6. Since it's based on Gen 6, I think that they have a chance to use these three, right? And I would personally like to see Infernape get a new form. It's my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I would love to like see it expanded on with it like a Mega or even like a Kalos form, right? I think that'd be really cool. Serperior, also most likely to get a form, and because like I said, it didn't get any love in the previous game as far as like Legends Arceus, and it just hasn't like had any other shine besides that. Same with Embor. Samurott for me is gonna be not a chance. Embor, like I said, they didn't give it any shine along with Serperior in the previous Legends game, and they chose Samurott and Oshawott, right? So I think that it's a high chance that we'll get this. With these three, I think that it's gonna be not a chance, and for the simple fact, if they're following the formula where they did the same thing as Legends Arceus, they did not choose these three because it was a Gen 4 game, right? And it went back to the past and they chose Typhlosion, Decidueye, and Samurott, correct? So I think that since this one's going to be based in Gen 6, they're not going to actually use these three starters for that, right? So assuming Decidueye is going to go in the same category with these three because they already got their shine. Next goes Incineroar, which, you know, I was watching Wolfie stream when this game was announced, and he really does not want to see a Mega Incineroar. But it's funny because we have a chance of getting it due to the fact that, you know, it's one of the starters that haven't gotten any shine since then. Of course, it's got shine in VGC, but I'm talking about shine as like being brought back as one of the starters or getting a form or something like that, correct? Same with Primarina, and of course, Decidueye was part of their trio, but Decidueye came back last time. Next, we have Rillaboom. I think Rillaboom, all the Gen 8 starters have a really good chance of getting a form. I think Rillaboom, since it's so good in VGC, same with Incineroar, maybe they won't give these two one, but I don't think see that being the actual criteria. Just because they're good in VGC doesn't mean they shouldn't be, you know, have a chance to get a form, right? I don't think that would be fair. And the last three, I think it's going to be not a chance for these three. And this is for the simple fact that, let's say they're following the same formula. We did not get a Gen 8 starter in the Legends Arceus game because it came out during Gen 8, right? Even though it was a Gen 4 base game, it came out during Gen 8, right? So we didn't get these starters and we didn't get these starters, right? So I think that same formula will follow with being Gen 6, but coming out during Gen 9, right? So we won't get these three starters, we won't get these three. So now let's start to break down my picks. When it comes to what I think they're gonna select, you can go based off popularity, or you can go based off what doesn't get that much love, or you can go based off something that kind of has like a tie-in to the region, right? Because these three kind of have like, you know, their tie-ins kind of go to like Japanese culture, like samurais and archers, and, you know, one of the Japanese type animals. So we can pretty much, you know, deduce that they may use like Empoleon or Serperior. There's something that has like a French vibe to it, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly what they're gonna choose. And if we had to go based off what, you know, what I think that I really believe that Meganium is gonna get some love here. I think that it's just been so outshined by everything that they're gonna give it, you know, a chance to do something, right? My next pick is gonna be for the fire starter. I really want to choose my favorite Pokemon, Infernape, but I feel like Infernape, even though it hasn't like gotten any forms or all that, I feel like it hasn't been like one of those mons that's forgotten about. And I really do think that if we're gonna pick the mons that are kind of forgotten about from their gens, I think that Embor could be one that gets some shine. And I think that it was really left behind in this generation, and, you know, it's a very forgettable starter, one of the most forgettable starters that a lot of people probably don't even remember what gen it was, or even remember that it's a Pokemon, period, right? And same kind of goes for like Inteleon. Inteleon was, you know, holds a special place in my heart because in the Renaissance, from me coming back to playing Pokemon after like, you know, about 10 years, I stopped playing in Gen 5 when it first came out. I didn't play Gen 6 or 7. So me coming back to play, you know, Gen 8, and I chose Inteleon as my starter kind of gives me like a little soft spot for it. So these are going to be pretty much my 3 picks for what I think are going to be the Fire, Grass, and Water starters. If I had to pick a secondary pick, I would definitely pick Empoleon, Serperior because of the French vibes, and probably Incineroar because he's like a luchador, even though that has nothing really to do with French. I think that just because Wolfie is afraid of them doing it, and I think Pokemon likes to troll Wolfie, I think that Incineroar may get one. So I think it'll be these 3, and this is Gen 4, Gen 5, and Gen 7. So it's not, you know, pulling 2 from the same generation. Cinderace does have a good chance of being it too. I really don't see Rillaboom or Primarina getting it, or any one of these 3. But my picks are going to be these 3, and like I said, if I had to go with second picks, I'm going to pick these 3, which I think these are going to be my picks, but the most obvious picks are going to be probably these 3, right? Or you maybe even put, you know, Cinderace instead of Incineroar, right? Due to the fact that, you know, soccer is pretty popular in French culture. So we could go with just these 3. But so these are going to be my 3 picks, and then these are going to be the 3 that are probably the most likely by the Pokemon Company. And these, like I said, these are the picks that they have a chance to, you know, be the starter. And we're going to probably, you know, ignore these. I really don't. I would be surprised if they give one of these, you know, a new form. But if they do, they do. We can't really control what Pokemon chooses to do, but we can only deduce based off, you know, the formula that they follow from the first Legends Arceus game. And pretty much what they do with Legends ZA, when we do see the starters, and it's a similar formula to what they did for Legends Arceus, we're definitely going to have a really keen idea on what the next 3 starters are going to be for the next Legends game, whatever they choose to release that, if it's like, you know, 3-4 years from now from that point. But that's going to be it for this video. Let me know if you guys like this type of content where we're just breaking, you know, some things down and choosing what we think are going to be the starters. Let me know if you guys agree. If you want to leave a comment below, let me know which 3 starters you think are going to be the starters for the new upcoming Legends game. I think it's a fun topic to just discuss and, you know, theory craft. And of course, you know, when we get those new starters, I'm hoping that they're all viable in VGC, because, you know, that's what I like to play, and I really do think that it's a good chance that we can finally get some love to Meganium and Bora and Inteleon. And it's funny because Inteleon was something that was just released in Gen 8, but I feel like it's gotten the least amount of love out of all the Gen 8 starters, and I feel like it's kind of like fell in by the wayside a lot. And it had a really cool G-Max form that you really never got to see after like the first month that it was released. But like I said, that's going to be for this video. Leave a like, subscribe, guys. Turn on those post notifications. We're chasing 500 followers, and we are so close. But that's going to be it for this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.